Many people believe that after a certain age, life inevitably becomes slower, less energy, less interest in new things, less desire to change something. But sometimes there are people who completely break these ideas. Looking at them, it's hard to believe the numbers in the passport. They live so actively, vividly, and intensely. Talley Williams is just such an example. At the age of 80, she remains cheerful, curious about life, a love of travel, movement, and communication. And the most interesting thing is that there is no magic or inaccessible techniques behind it. Today, we will analyze the habits and principles that help her feel much younger than her age, and also see what of this can be implemented into everyday life right now. Therefore, watch this video to the end. It will be very interesting and useful. So, let's get started. The first thing that immediately attracts attention is not even the appearance, but the attitude to life. Talley does not save energy, but on the contrary, it constantly feeds it. She often leaves the house, attends various events, keeps in touch, and looks for new experiences. And this is really important. The feeling of youth depends not only on physiology, but also on how involved a person is in the world around them. When people withdraw into themselves, their mental activity and emotional involvement gradually decrease. And constant interaction with people in new situations helps the brain stay active. Practical advice: get yourself socially active at least a few times a week. These can be meetings with friends, walks, lectures, hobby groups, or even new acquaintances. The brain needs emotions and a sense of novelty. The next important principle is regular movement without excessive loads. Talley does not exhaust himself with difficult workouts and does not strive for sports records, but he systematically studies at home. This is exactly what a competent approach is. Moderate but constant physical activity is much more useful than rare intense efforts. As you age, it is especially important to maintain your muscles and keep your joints mobile. The best option is to spend 20 to 30 minutes exercising 4 to 5 times a week. These can be light strength exercises, working with elastic bands, squats, stretching, and flexibility exercises. The main task is not to bring yourself to fatigue, but to keep your body in good shape. Another important point is to stay outdoors. Talley spends a lot of time away from home, and this is far from accidental. Daylight, fresh air, and a change of environment have a direct effect on sleep quality, energy levels, and hormonal balance. Natural light is especially useful, which helps the body maintain proper biorhythms. If a person is indoors almost all the time, the body seems to lose its internal bearings. It's a good habit to spend at least an hour a day outside. You can divide this time into several walks, for example, in the morning and afternoon. Even in cloudy weather, the outdoor lighting level is significantly higher than indoors. Travel is also very important, and it's not about the status or the number of countries visited. Any trip is a useful brain boost. New places, routes, and situations force a person to adapt and make decisions. It's a great workout for cognitive flexibility. When you navigate an unfamiliar environment, your brain is actively working and does not freeze into a familiar routine. At the same time, it is not necessary to wait for the perfect vacation. Even short trips for a couple of days can give the desired effect. The main thing here is new experiences, not distance. Thinking deserves special attention. Talley tries to keep a positive attitude, but not in the spirit of naive, everything is fine. Rather, it's about the ability not to dwell on the negative. Constant stress and anxious thoughts really accelerate the aging process. Increased stress levels interfere with the recovery of the body and affect overall well-being. Therefore, it is important to monitor your inner state. If you notice that you are scrolling through unpleasant thoughts again, don't get stuck in them. Switch through an action. walking, socializing, or physical activity. Very often, it is actions that help to change the emotional state. There is another interesting detail: attention to modern trends. Talley does not stay within the style of his youth, but keeps track of what is relevant today. What colors, styles, and elements appear in fashion. And here it is important not to copy the youth, but to remain a part of the present tense. When a person completely stops updating his image, he seems to be psychologically fixed in the past. And this is reflected not only in appearance, but also in the inner perception of oneself. It's a good habit to update your wardrobe from time to time, adding modern details, accessories, shoes, or new items of clothing. Another important principle is the acceptance of one's own age. Talley does not try to look 20 years younger at any cost, and this is what makes her image more harmonious and attractive. When a person is constantly struggling with time, he spends a huge amount of energy on internal resistance. Acceptance is not about giving up on yourself, but the ability to adapt and take care of yourself at your current age. It is much more useful to compare yourself not with the past, but with how you were yesterday. This approach helps to focus not on losses, but on development. It is also interesting that Talley actively blogs and shares her life. And it goes much deeper than just posting on the internet. When a person formulates thoughts, talks about his experiences, and receives feedback from other people, he continues to work actively mentally and emotionally. It trains memory, thinking, and the ability to structure information. Even if you don't want to blog, it's useful to write down your thoughts in a diary, notes, or voice messages. There is no magic secret here, just a simple system of regular actions. And it is consistency that plays a key role. What you do every day is much more important than the occasional attempt to dramatically change your life. Talley does not divide his life into separate categories like health, work, and leisure. For her, this is a single space where movement brings pleasure, communication energizes, and activity supports the body and mood. Friends, what do you think of this woman? Write your opinion in the comments. If this video was useful to you, then please like it and share the link with those who might find it particularly useful. We also recommend watching this video that's currently appearing on your screen.